Shoot. Fire away.
Hey, good morning, Nick. What is it about Darius Slay that, if you will, he provides such a good heartbeat for that defensive background?
You're going to be mad you said Darius, first of all. So Slay. Yeah. He's just got a great energy about him. He comes in every day ready to work, and that's important, that energy that you bring every day, because not every day you're going to want – there's going to be days that I come in here, I'm like – and you got to come in, you got to get ready to go, and he brings it, and that's contagious. Like, I really believe that when you bring energy constantly every day, and that's just who you are, that's contagious. And then he's got really high football IQ. Slay is a really smart football player, extremely smart football player that can identify things and just seems to make timely plays because of it all over the field. And then his mode to be able to want to help people. He wants to help his teammates. He loves his teammates. He wants to help his teammates, and that's just something I've noticed every day since I've been here. Is that love for his teammates. And when I talked to the Detroit media yesterday, I made sure that they knew that as well, because I know that he used to be in that organization. So he's just I'm just so happy he's on this team. He's a great player, great teammate, great leader.
How different do you find a week one game plan from a regular season, like a middle of the season game plan, in terms of like what you want to disguise and what you're worried about them unveiling? There's
definitely differences. There's no doubt. I don't want to get into too much of that, but there is definitely differences of a game one game plan and then when you get some tape on out there. All right, there's things that there's things that we're never going to see from them that they're going to show, and they're going to be things that we show them that they've never seen. And so that's exciting to be able to go in and see how those things are going to work out. Obviously we're putting them in the plan because we think they're going to work well. But it's a little different, and that's how 32 other teams are this week too.
Yourself more excited about showing something you haven't, or worried about what you're going to see that you haven't?
I don't go into it with a worry ever, because the reps are there, the practice time's there, the detail has been there, right? We've been working so hard on some of these things for the last year, right, or 6 months, and so. We feel like we don't just throw something in just to throw it in. We do a lot of research on it. We figure out what it's supposed to look like. We talk to the coaches that maybe were the originators of it or whatnot. And so the worry's never there, just excitement.
Nick, how is Chauncey done picking up the scheme this week? And is he at a point where you're comfortable with him being out there for most of the game?
He's done a good job, and he's done a good job of learning it. Coaches have done a good job of teaching it. Coach Wilson, Denard, and DK have done a good job teaching it, and he's done a good job of learning it, like I said. And so, we'll see what happens as far as going out there. I think that's something that is a competitive advantage that Detroit doesn't know how much he's going to be out there, who's going to be out there. So I'll keep that to myself for right now.
Fitting in aside from that?
Great. Yeah, great. He competitive, high football IQ. Speaks to a lot of our core values that we have: getting to know guys, and always seeing him talking to guys, connecting. And so, yeah, he's fitting in well, and I think he's what I know of him so far is he hits all 5 of those core values that are so important to our culture.
Like last year, you had
you spoke about having practices at faster tempo and watching the play clock. Do you want to play at a faster pace?
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that, Zach. You'll see, right? You'll see. But and sometimes it's you want to push the tempo, but also sometimes it's for conditioning. So obviously I'll keep that one in, and but it's always good to push that tempo in practice for sure.
Like last year, the offense went through Smith and Goddard. This year you had A.J. Brown to that mix. How challenging is it to make sure those 3 guys get their share of targets and you ride the hot hand through the course of the game?
Sure. I definitely won't ever look at that as a challenge. That's hopefully you have the trust of the guys that, and you've connected with the guys enough that they understand the game plan. You tell them the why behind the game plan. You tell them what's going on. Of course, all those guys are going to want the ball because they're all competitors. They're all really good players. They all know if they touch the ball, they can help us win. And so, I never look at that as a challenge. I just look at it as a great opportunity to say, if they're taking this away, we can go to this, or vice versa. And so, not a challenge, but excited to have all three of them on our team, obviously, and look forward to seeing them play on Sunday.
Last one, folks.
When you look at Jared Goff, a lot has been made about Jalen Hurts being in year 2 and, knowing the system and stuff. Do you think the same kind of applies to him? I mean, looking at last year's game.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, there's most definitely. The more you're with a coach, certain coaches and different play and certain players, the more you're gonna get better. And so I know I got a lot of respect for Jared Goff and the things that he's done in this league. I don't know him personally. I heard he's a great teammate though, and so a lot of respect for him. And most definitely, he's going to grow and be better every day probably. I don't know that for sure, but I mean, I'm not trying to put him into the mode of like get better every day, but I'm imagining that he's improved, right? Because I think highly of him as a player.
All right. Thanks, folks.
About Jared Goff.